hello, and I have decided that instead of doing little highlights, I'm just going to do a recap where I show some footage as well, just because there's like 6.5 hours of footage I just don't really want. I'm sorry. So, yeah, we are going to just talk about what happened with Artemis. So, Artemis begins her journey, manages to do well in hunting, and yeah, she catches 2 elk just because she thinks it'd be a cool thing to do, and then she goes to sleep because that's her life quest. She has to sleep below 40%. Not life quest, we call it conditions. Yeah. But then she wakes up, and there are 2 wolves. She kind of immediately likes one of them. They end up talking a lot, and I end up picking him as my trial mate. Then we go to one of our kills. There's a bear, so we go to another kill. Right, at the other kill, there is a cougar, and we end up fighting the cougar, and then later we end up fighting even more cougars, and we find out that Quartz is a very bold boy. Artemis has to kinda hold him back a little bit, but he ends up injured, and she is very angry about this, and so she ends up furiously challenging the cougar as well. She has a problem with that specific cougar. Anyway, they build a territory, they find a skull, and they live with their pups. And for a while, everything's pretty good. There's a lot of pups, and that's challenging, but we hunt a lot, we chase stuff off, even when sometimes the pups are really just stressing me out. We manage. Then, at one point, something happens. Several pups wander kind of far from the den, right? And I go to get them. I grab one of them. I start to head back. At that exact moment, pups are out, we're just hanging out. At that exact moment, coyotes show up, and one of them runs up, kills Eclipse. Just dead, gone. And, annoyingly, I struggled to put down the pup that I was holding, which I think was Leo. But thankfully, for some reason, that coyote really lingered in that kill animation. So, no one else died. But, yeah, obviously we track down the coyote, we kill him. Like I said, Artemis is very, very protective. She's not gonna stand for that. But, yeah, I think we killed both coyotes. And so, yeah, that's definitely not very good at all. We're upset about that, but things keep going for a while. We keep feeding the pups, we keep taking care of them. Then we go to get a kill, we go to get food. Oh yeah, we also have a very frustrating hunt where we start to hunt in another wolf's territory, and the cow's at a sliver of health left, but they just keep tearing into us, and the cow escapes. They don't even kill it, they let it escape. Yeah, but then I think what happened was a bear walked by, and that kind of confused their fight and flight stuff, and they ran away, even though they outnumbered us, and we were kind of nearly dead. So then we went to kill another elk, just because we needed food. Right, so I think we went back to that elk later on, and there was a bear, and I just kind of overestimated the mate AI a little bit. I went to get food while Quartz was distracting the bear. That worked. Then I tried to do the same, but Quartz just ignored me and just kept going for the bear, and Quartz ended up dying. Yeah. So Artemis is devastated at this point. Both the pup and a mate have died, and she feels both like if she gets another mate, she might get them killed, but also she doesn't really want to let a stranger wolf near her pups, so she does not get a mate until the pups are post 20-pound quest. Also forgot to mention, at one point when Eclipse is being attacked by a cougar, before he's dead, it happens because we go hunting, but then our energy gets low and we have to sleep. And so after that, her condition becomes much more lenient, but at the cost of being less costly. But then later on, she actually fails her condition altogether, and yeah, so she just decides she's not gonna do it anymore. She's not going to worry about like sleeping when she needs to be so diligently protecting her pups. So yeah. So on her own with the remaining 6 pups, Artemis keeps going. She hunts, she marks, she fights off predator after predator after predator. She plays with the pups, she feeds them, she keeps them happy. And, you know, slowly things start to get better, things start to heal. She gets into routine, she becomes a pretty feared wolf with how quickly she chases everything off, and things are good. At one point we also moved dens. That was with quartz, I'm pretty sure, but after, I don't think we moved dens anymore. I think we just went to the rendezvous site, and right before that, actually a bit before that, a series of pups getting sick started. Saul gets sick. He's sick for some time. We spend time with him. Saul recovers. Just a little later, Silver is sick, and we need to go to the rendezvous site. I grab her, I go there, I set everything up. She recovers at some point. Ivy gets sick. More stuff happens. Ivy gets better. More stuff happens. At one point, after babies show up, Artemis also figures out that if she goes near the baby and then finds the baby and then kills the mom, she can get both of them. So she does that a few times. We do a few more hunts. I was better, but then soon Leo gets sick. Literally, it's a row of pups getting sick. We get another attack. It's not a very big one. Then finally, a wolf that for ages has been calling out to Artemis, and we've even seen him a few times, but she kind of ignored him, went to get food. Finally, now that the puppies are, because they grew up, at this point they're 20 pounds, but Leo's still sick, so I'm going. And yeah, she finally allows him in. And then we have a pretty big mission. We hunt, we run into some wolves that are annoying, we get some extra territory, and then we, by the end, even get a moose calf, which Thunder is pretty scared to do. But we convince him, and we manage to do it. We go back, we spend some time with the pups, and eventually Leo heals, and we can stop. And yeah, so now I can play the ending section with me showing off the pups. And if you want to know more about the pups' personalities, when I'm done with all the litters for Artemis, I will have a voting video that will show each pup's interesting moments and stuff, so you will know everything about all the pups, don't worry. He actually doesn't have good strength, so I don't know why he was doing so much damage. I guess I just was that weak. Okay, yes, we only lost one pupper. So Eclipse would have been, had he lived, would have been a very strong wolf, but also very, a little bit, buff as well. Not buff, could take some hits, but at the same time, he'd be very, have very low stamina. Health, I think he would be, not health, speed, I think he'd be very interesting to play as. Leo is very similar, except worse. He's really bad, and we're probably not gonna play as him. I'm not putting myself through another run right now. We can make him. Yeah, we can make him though. Okay, Ivy doesn't have a lot of strength, has very bad stamina, but is a speedy wolf. That's interesting. Stamina but speed. That could work. That could absolutely work. Yes, you are an Iron Wolf. No, I don't want to start playing yet. Silver is strong. Does Silver have the same? Yes, Silver has the same exact stats as Eclipse, and I already said that those would be pretty nice stats, so, or the very least interesting stats to play with. And then we have Soul, who is slow, but can take sickness pretty well, as we saw. I think he did the best, actually, with the sickness, if I remember correctly. Or maybe Silver did. I think these two did some of the worst. Sapphire has low stamina, a beautiful coat, but low stamina, very low stamina, but she's pretty speedy and can do pretty well with, can take hits pretty well. I think this would also be a good build. And then Cobaltite is especially good at not. He can take a lot of hits. He's not as strong, but he can take a lot of hits to make up for it, which is good, and he doesn't have as much stamina. But that just means he'll need to spend a little bit more time in it, and again, because of the health thing, he can afford to take more hits, which does make up for it. And he will also be an Iron Wolf, and let's meet Cobaltite. Pretty. I like the way that he looks. He does have a little bite on his ear. I don't think he was one of the pups that ever came close to death, actually. I don't think anything bad has ever happened to Cobaltite, but I could be wrong. Okay, he did apparently run up to a bear once, but he did not get attacked by said bear, so I don't know what happened there. But this is him. Pretty wolf. Very pretty. And these are... Ooh, I already see some very pretty wolves. This is Ivy. Very pretty. Did not expect the green eyes, but they certainly go well with her name. And I love the lots of silver that's on her. That's very pretty. She is kind of similar to Quartz, actually. Did Quartz have green eyes? Okay, no. Quartz and Artemis had the same color eyes. Okay, next we have this guy, Leo. And he also looks very pretty, largely just because of how white he is. I'm not as big a fan of this coat, but with how white it is, it actually looks pretty good. And I like how light his eyes are to match it as well. Then we have Sapphire, who actually does look like Dad, except also with green eyes, which match even better. And I think are there green sapphires? There's probably some green sapphires, right? It does look like there are green sapphires, yes. And actually, I haven't been paying attention, but I don't think anyone else was scarred up other than that one guy, right? Yeah, you got caught. Okay, no, you also got a little bit scarred up, and probably had something to do with when you got tagged. This is Silver, who is in fact Silver. Thank goodness for that. And she's so white that her eyes actually look kind of uncanny, and her nose on it. She looks like she's glowing, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's gonna be a very striking appearance for her. She has a lot of strength and health. So imagine, she's not that speedy, but when she attacks, you're gonna see just this blur of bright silver. It's gonna be great. And I don't think she's injured, but she does have a pretty small tail. And then we have Soul, who definitely doesn't look unlike everyone else, like how I expected. And he has a little chip in his ear too, but in his case, I'm pretty sure he got, like, nipped by a bear, so that makes sense. And he also has a color like his sister does. Very pretty wolf as well. All of them are like glowing. Like literally, aside from Ari herself, all of these wolves, well, this one's maybe a little bit less bright, but even still also very bright. All these wolves are glowing. Sully did not expect. Cobaltite looks very similar to his pup form, actually. Ivy also looks like how I'd expect her to look. Leo looks like how I'd expect him to look. Sapphire was... I think she was the one that had a stripe, right? And she still has a stripe. And otherwise she resembles her dad. So yes, she also looks right. Silver definitely looks right. I actually kind of like the contrast when I think about it. Soul is the only one where I'm surprised, because let's look at him again. This is what Soul looked like as a child. Beige little thing. This is what he looks like now. Wow. He does have some beige still. I mean, he's very pretty, don't get me wrong. I'm just surprised. Yeah, very happy with these children. R.I.P. Eclipse. But I'm so proud of Artemis for doing all that on her own. And, yeah, very proud of myself for getting this achievement as well.